Hello everyone, this is Ross with Market Traders Daily, and this is today's video analysis for July 28, 2020. Today we're looking at the EURUSD, the euro, versus the US dollar for today's trade analysis. And speaking of the dollar, we have the euro dollar on the left and the US dollar index on the right side of this chart. Pretty clear to see that whatever the US dollar is doing, we see the opposite for the euro dollar. As the US dollar has been falling, today we see a little bit of a rebound. On the left-hand side, we see the euro dollar rising and a little bit of a dip for the euro dollar on the current daily candle. So it's pretty clear. Again, whatever the dollar's doing, we're seeing the opposite for the euro. So it makes sense to compare the two and decide when the best time to make an entry is. If we're going to buy the trend for the euro, we don't want to buy it at the highest point, at the very, very peak high of the trend. We want to wait for a little bit of a dip back down, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now is a little bit of a pullback into the blue zone as support. We're also at the same time seeing the USD. We don't want to sell it at the bottom. It already makes sense that selling at 93.45, the orange zone at the bottom of the US dollar chart, was not a good idea. Yesterday or today, it's now bounced off of that a couple of times and now pressuring up to the green zone. So on the right hand side, on the dollar chart, it makes the most sense to sell the US dollar on any rebounds back to the green zone, which is 93.90, 94.10, closer to the black trend line. Makes the most sense to sell it there. Your stop loss and your risk becomes smaller for selling dollars into resistance, and your potential profit back to the orange zone or lower in the direction of the trend becomes greater the higher the dollar gets. And the same thing over here on the euro dollar. If we're going to buy it, we want to look for it to dip into support. Maybe the bottom of the blue zone, 117.10, 117, becomes the best opportunity to buy it. Our stop loss goes under there. That way, if it does break the blue zone and go lower, we minimize the risk, and our profit target back to 118, the yellow shaded area or higher in the direction of the trend. So really kind of what I'm looking for right now is for those things to match. I'm looking for the US dollar to hit the green zone as resistance. I'm looking for the US dollar to bottom out at some point, hopefully the bottom of the blue zone, 117.10, and then we'll look for a bounce and look for it to return in the direction of the trend. Again, we know it doesn't have to do that. We know that there's potential that it breaks and turns around and goes back in the other direction. The dollar could break the black trend line green zone and turn higher. The euro dollar could break the blue zone and go lower. So that's what our risk in the scenario would be. Take the euro dollar down to the 4-hour time frame, and this is an interesting viewpoint. I'm actually going to expand the chart out a bit and zoom it like this so you can see it did indeed get above the blue zone on the 4-hour time frame, and now we're seeing that settle back into the blue zone as support. So again, this is becoming a very interesting opportunity at the lowest point within the pullback. And we've seen similar scenarios like this before within this trend. I would point you to this area. It was pretty extreme, but there's an area here in the black circle where it pulled back into the orange zone, found support, and turned around and went back up. It wasn't quite as impressive right here, but it did make a push above and then pulled back into the green zone right here and then turn back in the direction of the trend. So that's what we're seeing within the life of this trend. We even see further down here some example of it way down here, the blue trend line and blue shaded area where it got above, sat back down into the blue zone and returned to the trend. So none of these are going to be exactly pictured the same, pip for pip, candle for candle, but that's the theory. If you're going to trade the trend, you want to wait for it to make some sort of pullback, ease back, find support, and then turn back in the direction of the trend. So as the US dollar finds resistance into the green zone, we look for the euro dollar to find support into the blue zone, and then we're looking for timing. When do we want to do that? And that's when we're going to bring something like our volume indicator into the picture over here on the right hand side. You can see it's been waffling around inside this blue zone on the 5-minute time frame for quite a while now. We're now challenging back towards the bottom of the blue shaded area on the volume indicator 5-minute time frame. It's even turned red. The trend dots have turned red. Heat map and volume have turned red for a short period of time as it makes that pullback into the blue zone. So all we need to see now is the trend dots, the heat map, and the volume switch back to green, and we have an opportunity for timing wise to get back into a long shot on the euro. Let's wait for that, because it could just stay red and break the blue zone, and then we'll be unhappy that we bought it. So let's wait for the right timing. It doesn't really matter. You take it over here to the 15-minute time frame. You can see the trend dots are white, the heat map and volume are red. So we would wait even on the 15-minute time frame for a bullish signal. Now you could take it to an extreme down to the 1-minute time frame. You can see it red right now. You're waiting for it to turn green again. In any case, we're looking for signals to buy into the bottom of the blue zone as the USD finds resistance into the green zone, all of that in the direction of the trend for the euro dollar today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.